The cock crowed before dawn, and the talking drum echoed from the palace square, calling villagers to rise. I stared from my raffia mat, rubbing my eyes. The air smelled faintly of smoke from last night's cooking fire. My mother was already awake. I heard her soft footsteps as she poured water into a clay pot. "Chike, hurry up, you will be late for school," she said with a smile. She handed me a calabash of hot pap, though I noticed she had not eaten herself. I was young, but I could see the lines of hunger etched in her eyes. Still, her voice carried the strength of a lioness, and her love filled our mud-walled hut like sunlight. That morning, I followed her to the market. She balanced a tray of roasted groundnuts on her head, singing as she walked, "Onyezuga, Onyezuga, buy my groundnut." Sweat trickled down her forehead, yet she smiled at every customer. Some bargained too harshly. Some walked away without buying, but she never gave up. Each handful of groundnuts sold was another coin toward my school fees. I noticed she licked her lips often, watching the food stores nearby, but she never bought herself even a morsel. At night, we sat by the lantern's glow. She placed a bowl of yam porridge before me. I asked, "Mama, will you not eat?" She shook her head. "I ate earlier," she lied, her hand resting gently on my shoulder. I knew her stomach was empty, yet she smiled as if full. My spoon felt heavy. Guilt gnawed at me with every bite. But she watched me with pride, whispering, "Your strength is my meal." The next day, I walked into class with my books neatly wrapped in old newspaper. My friends teased me about my worn-out sandals, but I held my head high because I knew my mother's sweat had bought every page I wrote on. The teacher's cane snapped against the board, but my mind drifted to Mama, still in the market, still selling, still hungry, still smiling. One evening, heavy rain poured as we returned from the market. My mother's wrapper was soaked. Her tray of roasted groundnuts balanced shakily on her head. Thunder roared, lightning lit up the sky, but she never once complained. "The rain can beat me, but it cannot beat my hope," she said. I held her hand tightly, my small palm pressed into her calloused one, and I silently promised myself never to waste the sacrifices she made. During the village festival, children wore new clothes, but I had only my faded shirt. My mother tied a bright scarf around my neck and said, "You shine brighter than any cloth." She sold roasted maize at the edge of the square while drums and flutes filled the air. I saw her eyes linger on the dancers' meals, but she kept selling, clapping for me when I joined the other children in games. She celebrated me more than herself. One dry season, she fell ill. Her body was weak, but she still insisted on going to the market. I begged her to rest. "Chike," she said, "if I rest, your school will not wait." She tied her wrapper tighter, masking her weakness. I wanted to cry, but she smiled faintly, brushing my cheek with her hand. "You are my tomorrow," she whispered. One night, I awoke to find her sitting in the dark, clutching her stomach. Hunger had caught her, but she tried to hide it. Tears glistened in her eyes as she whispered a prayer. "Chimi, do not let my children suffer." I pretended to be asleep, but my heart broke. I realized then that her lies about eating were not small. They were shields she carried to protect me. Years later, I stood tall in my secondary school uniform, prize certificate in hand. The whole village clapped as I received an award for being the best student. I scanned the crowd and saw my mother, her hands covered in groundnut shells, cheering louder than anyone else. That day, I understood that every hunger she endured, every lie about eating, every blister from work had led to this moment. On the day I received my first scholarship, I rushed home with bags of food. I cooked rice and stew with my own hands and placed it before her. "Mama, today you will eat first." She laughed, tears streaming down her cheeks. For the first time in years, she ate until she was satisfied. She said, "My hunger was never for food, it was for your future. Now my stomach and my heart are both full. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more inspiring Morimuko stories.